The moonlight shines over a fallen clan as a mysterious figure prepares for the ultimate revenge. After years of suffering under the demonic sect, the time for justice has finally arrived. Shadows dance in the night as guards fall one by one. Our hero moves like a ghost determined to end this before the sun rises. Deep inside the palace, the heavenly demon sits in calm meditation while his followers perish outside. He is heartless, viewing humans as nothing more than insects beneath his feet. Kang Wunshin declares his intent to kill the tyrant today. He charges forward, unleashing his most powerful martial arts in a clash of titans. Heavenly Lightning Fist. The air crackles with energy as a devastating blow lands, but the ancient demon only laughs at the effort. The demon counters with his own horrific art. The heavenly blood tide erupts in a terrifying display of power meant to crush any who dare challenge him. Bones shatter and spirit breaks. Just when all hope seems lost, a blinding light pierces through the darkness of the demonic hall. Out of nowhere, a high-level mage from a different world appears to save the day. This is a total mood killer for anyone reading the story. Meet Jin Seo-woon, a 23-year-old veteran who just wants to read a good Murim novel. He is furious at the author for such a lazy plot twist. When he is not complaining about bad writing, Jin is a top-ranked pro gamer in the survival hit Loyal Ground. His skills are legendary in the gaming world. While scrolling through his phone, he sees strange reports of people with mysterious powers appearing all over the globe. They are calling them players. As he walks home, a sudden flash of light consumes everything. Jin Seo-woon is about to find out that his life as a gamer was just practice for what is coming next. Jin Seo-woon wakes up in a literal war zone as mages cast spells and warriors clash in the distance. He thinks this has to be a dream, but the chaos is way too loud. A digital ping rings through his head as the system detects 100 players. The interface begins initializing and syncing his language in real time. Jin watches a blonde archmage named Chiron face off against a skeletal figure claiming to be the Demon King. These players are taking this game very seriously. Chiron unleashes a massive bolt of lightning that rocks the battlefield. Jin realizes this is not a dream, but a hyper-realistic survival game called Cloyd Survival. A giant stone guardian explains the brutal rules. Players must survive for 100 game years until only one winner is left to return to the real world. A massive warrior begins mocking Jin for his messy hair and weak appearance. He threatens to kill Jin the moment the match officially begins. As the countdown hits 0, Jin lets out a chilling smirk. He has perfect knowledge of this game and plans to use it to slaughter everyone in his path. The players are dropped from the sky into the map. While most head for the crowded centers, Jin chooses to land in a quiet area on the outskirts to gear up. After landing, Jin suffers from a brief moment of motion sickness. He quickly spots a nearby house and moves in to find his first weapon. Inside, he discovers a heavy crossbow. Thanks to his background as a South Korean army sergeant, handling this weapon is second nature to him. He tests the power of the crossbow by firing a bolt through the wall. The explosive force is enough to convince him that he can survive this nightmare. Jin finds a rare martial arts book that teaches him to project dark energy through his fingers. He absorbs the knowledge instantly as purple energy swirls around him. With a simple flick of a fork, Jin shatters a solid wall using his new power. The tutorial is over, and the real hunt has finally begun. Jin Seo-woon is cleaning out every house he finds. He just hit the jackpot with a stash of martial arts books, and he is hungry for more power. In the middle of the dark forest, a single house remains lit. This either means a legendary rare item is inside, or a player is waiting to kill him. He creeps inside with his massive crossbow ready. He does not know if he is about to face a total noob or a world-class pro. He is prepared to use his secret weapon, the Black Star Kai Palms. If he gets the jump on them, even a pro player will be toast. He finds a ring of strength. Just by putting it on, his physical power skyrockets and the heavy crossbow feels as light as a feather. Then he finds the ultimate utility item, a subspace ring. Now he can carry an entire inventory of weapons in a tiny purple pocket dimension. Checking the status board, only one person has been eliminated so far. The real bloodbath has not even started yet. Suddenly, a massive shadow looms over him. A werewolf is stalking the woods, and it has found its next meal. The beast sniffs the air, closing in on his scent. Seo-woon knows he cannot run, so he decides to strike first. With his new strength, he fires the heavy crossbow with a single hand, nailing the monster right in its tracks. But more monsters are coming. Seo-woon reaches into his subspace and prepares to unleash the full power of his martial arts. After barely surviving a deadly encounter, Jin Seo-woon finally catches his breath, while blue energy fragments fade around him. He discovers a piece of advanced armor left behind in the ruins, and realizes it is high-quality gear. The Orichalchum breastplate automatically adjusts to his size, granting him massive resistance to elemental magic. But the real prize is a hidden night cloak that grants him total invisibility and silence while moving through the shadows. His peaceful looting is cut short when a massive wave of fire incinerates another player right before his eyes. The high-level player Chiron steps out of the shadows mocking the weak as he prepares to loot his kill. Jin realizes that hesitation leads to death, and he launches a brutal ambush while Chiron is distracted by the loot. With a single precise strike, Jin pierces through the mage's defense and ends his life instantly. Inside the chest, Jin finds a circle stone, a legendary item that can transform any player into a powerful mage. The transformation is pure agony as Mana carves a circle into his heart, but Jin refuses to make a sound. He has successfully become a dual-class warrior, but he sees the survivor count has plummeted to only 45 players. A new monster named Nam Sagwin has appeared on the battlefield, hunting down everyone in sight with terrifying efficiency. The slaughter has only just begun, and soon the entire world will fear the name of the top ranker. Survival Day 3 is here, and the world of Cloyd has become a graveyard. Only 45 players remain as the bloodbath intensifies. Seo-woon realizes the monster Nam Sagwin is still hunting. He prays they never cross paths in this dark game. Mana surges through his veins as Seo-woon unlocks the power of a hidden spellbook. He is no longer just a regular player. With a fierce cry, he unleashes a wind ball that tears through the air. The power of magic is finally within his reach. The destruction is absolute. Seo-woon stares at the ruins and realizes he has finally found a way to win. A legendary figure watches from the treetops. The heavenly demon is intrigued by the young man's strange power. An injured knight hides in the shadows hoping to avoid the carnage. He thinks he is safe, but the Reaper is closer than he knows. Sudden death strikes from the dark. The knight is eliminated before he can even scream for help. The heavenly demon appears right behind Seo-woon. The sheer pressure of his presence makes it hard to breathe. In a flash of movement, the old man drags Seo-woon across the sky. He wants to know the secrets of the world the boy came from. Seo-woon knows this is his only chance. He begs the legendary master to teach him the ways of martial arts. The heavenly demon agrees to train him, but warns that the path is paved with corpses. One mistake will mean certain death. The price of absolute power is death. But in this game, world dying is just a minor inconvenience for our hero. The heavenly demon is absolutely disgusted. He claims Jin has less inner energy than a common house dog. The forbidden ritual begins. Every sense is pushed to the limit as the wind turns into sharp blades against his skin. Jin screams in agony as a massive surge of blue energy explodes through his body. He is at the brink of death. The transformation is complete. Jin purges the old energy from his system as he prepares for the ultimate grind. This forbidden technique turns Jin's soul into a black hole. He will now absorb the life energy of every enemy he slaughters. The legendary master reveals his name as Jang Uchen. He vanishes into the forest, leaving Jin to face the trial alone. Night falls and the looting begins. Jin infiltrates a lit house hoping for epic gear, but finds only useless trash. On day 5, an unsuspecting intruder enters the house. Jin is done playing games and springs his deadly trap. Jin unleashes the Black Star Kai. Hidden weapons fly through the air as he shreds his opponent with ruthless speed. The target begs for mercy, but Jin shows no hesitation. To survive this hell, he must walk over a mountain of corpses. Seo-woon just hit the ultimate jackpot. He finds a glowing treasure chest filled with pure vitality, which is exactly what he needs to level up. The power is overwhelming. As he absorbs the energy, his entire body glows with a fierce green light that signals a massive evolution. His internal energy stats skyrocket to 20 points. This puts him miles ahead of the average player and fuels his desire to win. But the game is turning into a nightmare. The kill log is lighting up as players are being erased from existence at an alarming rate. Meet Nam Sagwin. He is a bloodthirsty serial killer with gray hair and sharp teeth who is currently hunting every survivor in sight. A week later, the forest is filled with danger. Seo-woon finds himself face to face with a massive werewolf ready to tear him apart. A group of desperate players decides to team up and take down the top killer. They think they have him trapped, but they are dead wrong. Nam Sagwin is a force of nature. He jumps into the middle of the mob and starts a massacre that leaves no one standing. 9 kills in a single heartbeat. The system is screaming with notifications as Nam Sagwin proves he is a total monster. Chiron, the high-level archmage, is not happy. He finds the staff of a fallen ally and swears an oath to destroy the killer. To survive the coming battle, Seo-woon raids a mansion. He finds a legendary elixir that can push his power to the absolute limit. Without warning, a violent explosion tears through the building. The entire area is turned into a sea of fire and falling debris. Chiron stands in the center of the inferno looking like a god. He is impressed that Nam Sagwin survived his most powerful magic. Seo-woon watches the chaos from his hiding spot. He cannot believe the ruthless murderer everyone is terrified of is just a little kid. The Archmage Escrow has finally cornered the serial killer Nam Sagwin, and he is not holding back. He calls upon the Master of Incantations to strike down his enemy with divine lightning. Nam Sagwin is struggling to keep up as the lightning bolts crash all around him. He has never seen this kind of terrifying power even back in the Central Plains. Escrow decides to end this farce once and for all. He unleashes a massive lightning storm that turns the entire battlefield into a literal hellscape of electricity. But the killer is craftier than he looks. Nam Sagwin uses an illusion to escape the deadly blast, leaving the Archmage screaming in absolute rage as the rain begins to fall. Hiding under his cloak of invisibility, Jin Seo-woon watches the chaos unfold. He manages to stay undetected and finds a hidden trapdoor in the middle of the woods. Inside the secret vault, Seo-woon finds a manual for a technique called the Book of Unbreakable Fists. It was created by a man who lost every fight but never gave up. To survive the shrinking map, Seo-woon drinks a powerful elixir. Mana floods his lower abdomen and forces his body to evolve, but the process leaves him paralyzed for hours. Just as he recovers and tries to move, a massive fireball erupts out of the sky. The map is shrinking and the high-level players are finally crossing paths. The smoke clears to reveal the elf Archmage Escrow. He stares down at Seo-woon with cold eyes, demanding to know the location of his previous target. The threat is clear. If Seo-woon doesn't have the information Escrow wants, he will be deleted from the game right then and there. The arrogant Archmage Chiron corners our hero Jin and demands to know the location of his mortal enemy. Suddenly, the bloodthirsty killer Nam Sagwin explodes from the shadows with a devastating surprise attack. Chiron thinks his mana will protect him, but Nam Sagwin uses a secret martial art to shatter his defenses. In a flash of blue energy, the killer delivers a lethal strike that cuts right through the Archmage's neck. But Chiron uses his final breath to activate his most destructive spell and summons a meteor from the heavens. The terrifying power of Armageddon descends on the battlefield to wipe out everyone in its path. Against all odds, Jin survives the blast and desperately burns through his healing scrolls to stay in the game. He tracks a sound to the wreckage and finds a crippled Nam Sagwin begging for help after losing both arms. The legendary killer tries to bargain for his life, but Jin knows this is his chance to become the ultimate survivor. Jin Seo-woon does not hesitate and drives his blade through the predator to claim his rank and power. A massive surge of internal energy floods into Jin as he absorbs the life force of the fallen monster. The high-level players watching from the shadows realize that a new and terrifying force has just been born. Jin Seo-woon feels a massive surge of power as he absorbs the internal energy from his fallen rival. He opens a rare loot box and finds a collection of legendary rings that boost his stats to insane levels. With these new stats, Jin is basically a walking cheat code, and victory seems almost guaranteed. Suddenly, a massive fire blast rocks the forest as a new challenger attempts to catch him off guard. A mage named Jihark from the Escrow Corps tries to finish him off with a high-level explosion spell, but Jin tanks the hit and delivers a devastating counterpunch called the Straight Severing Fist. Nearby, a loud-mouthed mercenary named Stanko demands that everyone come out and fight like men. The legendary archer Jiro Kyuana steps out of the shadows to offer a fake alliance to the mercenary. Before Stanko can even blink, Jiro Kyuana reveals his true power and cuts him down with cold precision. Jin watches from the shadows and realizes his next fight will be against a true monster. The restricted zone is closing in at an insane speed. Only 6 survivors are left in this deadly game, and Jin Seo-woon realizes the hunt is reaching its climax. Suddenly, a massive sound erupts from the grass. Seo-woon is hit by a mysterious magic attack, even though his cloak of stealth should make him invisible. The force of the blast is overwhelming. He is blown back as green energy tears through the landscape with terrifying precision. No more holding back. Seo-woon channels his internal energy into a single devastating strike called Mujul Kwon. His punch creates a shockwave that shatters the incoming magic. Just as the dust settles, a new threat appears. A ruthless assassin named Tamiron plunges his blade through the chest of the mage who tried to ambush Seo-woon. Tamiron is a cold-blooded killer who has never missed a target. He lunges at Seo-woon with twin blades and a murderous intent to take everything he has. The speed is unbelievable. Seo-woon barely reacts as blood sprays from a deep gash on his chest, but he is not going down without a fight. The assassin disappears into the shadows, but Seo-woon is one step ahead. He tracks the energy signature and strikes back with a lethal counter that leaves Tamiron shocked. With one final move, the assassin is eliminated. Seo-woon stands over his fallen enemy as the survivor count drops to only 4 people left in the arena. Peace is short-lived as an arrow nearly takes his head off. Seo-woon has to unleash another extreme straight punch to block a combined magic and physical assault. The real monsters have finally arrived. Senturk, the king of Hryson, stands with Geron and Jiorona, forming a 3-person party that spells certain death for our hero. Jin Seo-woon finds himself trapped by a group of players who have formed an illegal team. To survive this deadly encounter, he must figure out how to make these rivals turn on one another. A dark mage approaches Senraruku, the king of Carson, seeking an alliance to take down the top player. Senraruku is disgusted by the mage's status, but agrees that better rewards are worth the cooperation. With a massive explosion of light, the king eliminates the shadows. Seo-woon's cloak of stealth is rendered useless, and he is left completely exposed on the battlefield. Escrow seizes the opportunity to unleash his Chaos Blade magic. He mocks Seo-woon and declares that it is time for the protagonist to die in the name of the Demon Lord. Seo-woon is forced to focus all his internal energy to minimize the damage from the relentless magic barrage. His gear is breaking, and his body is reaching its absolute limit. Just as victory seems certain for the mage, Senraruku stabs him through the back. The king cold-bloodedly explains that he never intended to collaborate and only cares about winning. Seo-woon does not waste a second and launches a devastating punch directly into the king's chest. The impact is so powerful that it shatters the high-grade armor made by a master blacksmith. Senraruku reveals his true specialty as speed as he pierces Seo-woon's shoulder with a rapier. He claims his movements are too fast for any strength-based character to sense. Pushed into a corner, the king activates his formless aura blade. He finally acknowledges Seo-woon's tenacity and prepares to end the fight with his ultimate technique. Seo-woon counters by releasing his full internal energy and activating his spirit illusion steps. A dozen afterimages appear as he prepares for the final exchange of the match. As the 2 warriors square off, the divine archer Zurikana watches with utter boredom. The system announces that only 3 survivors remain in the entire world. Jin Seo-woon is done playing around. He surrounds the arrogant king of Carson with a wall of clones, leaving Senraruku with nowhere to run. But Seo-woon is pushed to his absolute limit. His internal energy is almost gone, and this final gamble is his only shot at survival. A massive strike connects, but Senraruku is a monster in his own right. He manages to block the heavy blow even while being driven into the ground. The protagonist drops a bombshell. Every single one of his clones can attack with full power, and there is no way to tell which one is the real deal. Panic sets in for the blonde king. With only 1 minute of aura remaining, he realizes his survival depends on ending this fight immediately. High above the battleground, the legendary archer Jiorokana watches with a cold indifference as her ally begins to crumble under the pressure. Desperate and bleeding, Senraruku begs for help, promising a massive reward if the archer will just fire one single shot to save him. The realization hits Senraruku like a freight train. He has been played from the very start like a toy in Seo-woon's hands. Driven by pure madness, the king abandons all strategy. He enters a state of berserk fury and vows to rip Jin Seo-woon to shreds. The speed is blinding. Clones dart in from every direction as Seo-woon prepares to land the killing blow on the exhausted warrior. Senraruku prepares one final clash. He puts every remaining drop of his life force into a single strike to end the match. It is all over in a flash. The king realizes his final attack passed through a phantom, and the system announces his total defeat. But the celebration is cut short. Jiro Kuana draws her bow, intending to eliminate the winner while he is still weakened from the duel. A lethal arrow streaks across the dark sky, targeting Seo-woon's heart, as the ultimate betrayal finally unfolds. Jin Seo-woon is covered in blood and fueled by the vitality he just stole from his enemies. He feels unstoppable and ready to take on the legendary archer Jiro Kuana. But before he can move, a shadow looms over the battlefield. The high-level archer is already upon him, tracking his every move with terrifying precision. One shot is all it takes. A mystical arrow pierces through Seo-woon's defenses, sending blood spraying everywhere as he collapses to the ground in agony. Jiro Kuana is cold and efficient. He pins Seo-woon to the earth with another arrow through the hand, making sure his prey has zero chance of escaping. How did he find the real body among the illusions? The archer simply calls it a gut feeling before ending the game with one final deadly bolt. Seo-woon wakes up back in his track jacket. He lost the fight, but the system delivers a shock. He finished in second place and is qualified for the next deadly game. It is time for rewards. Seo-woon desperately needs the spirit illusion steps, but it is way too expensive. He is forced to gamble his remaining coins on a gacha spin. The first spin is a total bust, giving him a cheap necklace. Desperate and frustrated, Seo-woon prays for a miracle as he prepares his final attempt. Success, the second spin lands perfectly on the most expensive item available. He just saved a fortune and secured a massive power-up for the future. Then the unthinkable happens. Seo-woon finds himself back in a dark alleyway in the real world. He looks down at his hand and freezes in absolute shock. The ring of subspace is still there. This was not a dream. Everything he won in that digital hellscape has crossed over into his reality. Forget school and exams. Seo-woon realizes his life is changing forever. He needs to prepare because the next game is coming and he is playing to win. He remembers the teachings of the elder. Internal energy is the key. To survive what is coming, he must master the art of gathering energy into his core. After 4 hours of intense meditation, Jin Seo-woon finally opens his eyes in the real world. But the results are pathetic. Even with all that effort, his inner energy is barely a drop in the ocean compared to the game. Reality is far harder than a simulation. At this rate, it would take a lifetime just to reach his basic player level. He decides to stop wasting time and tests his physical loot, starting with a low-level martial arts manual. Suddenly, a system prompt appears. The impossible is happening. The game mechanics actually work in the real world. With a single thought, he masters the technique. His body moves with a deadly speed he never dreamed of having. Next, he pulls out a gold necklace one from a lucky lottery. This isn't just pixels. This is pure solid gold worth millions. Based on its weight, this single item could change his entire financial future in an instant. He even has elixirs that grant long life. The profit potential for these items in the real world is staggering. The physical strain is catching up to him, so he treats himself to a proper meal at a local restaurant. With a full stomach, he heads back out to test the ring of strength he brought from the dungeon. The results are terrifying. He leaps across the cityscape like a superhuman, completely overflowing with destructive power. Now for the ultimate test. He pulls out the elixir of inner sight, his most valuable treasure. He downs the glowing liquid in one go and prepares for the surge of internal energy. Massive energy erupts from his core. His entire body begins to radiate an unbearable heat, as if his blood is boiling. The heat is so intense that the police arrive to investigate what they believe is a major fire. Seo-woon barely manages to compose himself and open the door, pretending everything is normal while sweating bullets. He collapses the moment they leave. If not for his advanced techniques, he would have died from the energy feedback. His power is now so volatile that a single careless movement sends shockwaves through the entire room. The next day, he retreats to a quiet mountain park to train his new strength away from prying eyes. But his peace is short-lived, as he spots a group of arrogant punks harassing a brave old man. Seo-woon doesn't hesitate. He intervenes with a lightning-fast kick that sends the ringleader flying. The other students can only watch in horror, as their leader is taken down in a single second. However, the true threat finally steps forward. A massive student with a gaze that promises real trouble. Jin Seo-woon just turned a high school bully into a floor mat, but now the kid's big brother is looking for a piece of the action. This older brother tries to act tough and lectures Seo-woon about respect for his elders, without realizing who he is actually talking to. Seo-woon does not hesitate for a second. He charges forward with a massive energy fist that screams pure power. One hit is all it takes to send the guy flying. Seo-woon realizes his game stats are way too high for this world to handle. Desperate and bleeding, the bully pulls a butterfly knife and screams like an absolute maniac. The knife lunge is pathetic. Seo-woon dodges with the grace of a pro gamer, avoiding a slow boss attack. Seo-woon decides to dial it back to 50% and unleashes an undefeated palm strike right into the guy's chest. The impact is brutal. The bully looks like he just got hit by a speeding truck instead of a simple palm. Seo-woon worries he might have gone too far, because if that guy actually died, his peaceful life would be over forever. 1 month later, Seo-woon is busy training in his apartment when a sudden call from his mother changes everything. His father was in a terrible car accident. The family is broke, and the surgery costs are completely impossible to pay. Seo-woon reaches into his pocket and pulls out a golden dragon pendant he brought back from the game world. He takes the item to a high-end jewelry shop, where the clerk is stunned by the impossible craftsmanship of the piece. 11 million won. Just like that, his family is saved from financial ruin by a single item from his past life. But things are getting weird. A video of a player using fire magic in the real world is starting to go viral online. Seo-woon realizes he is not the only survivor. The world is about to become a very dangerous place very quickly. A shadowy organization is already hunting survivors, and their leader has zero patience for anyone making mistakes. They are tracking down every single person who made it out of the game. The hunt for the survivors of Cloyd survival has officially begun. Under the cool light of the moon, the midsummer heat finally fades away. But for Jin Seo-woon, the real heat is just beginning as he trains in the shadows. It has been 2 months since the first game ended, and he has spent every night accumulating internal energy. He unleashes the spirit-stepping phantom walk with perfect precision. Seo-woon triggers the unbroken fist spatial strike, but he quickly realizes his current limit. With his current energy, he can only maintain a single clone for a brief moment. In his previous life, he could command 8 clones at once. Now his Danshin feels pathetic and hollow. He is a shadow of his former legendary self. Just as he decides to head home for a snack, the air ripples. Before he can react, a familiar blue light engulfs him. He is being summoned once again. He lands in a field surrounded by hundreds of confused people. Among them is a warrior shouting in a foreign tongue. It is happening again. Cloyd's survival has returned. A massive stone statue towers over them, announcing the start of the tutorial. Seo-woon is shocked. This part was skipped in his last game, which means most of these players are total beginners. In the distance, he spots a student in a school uniform sitting calmly on a rock. This guy does not look like a rookie. He looks like a seasoned professional. The system announces 200 players have joined, and only the top 200 will survive the tutorial. In Cantra's Valley, there is no risk of elimination yet. That is all Seo-woon needs to hear. With a wicked grin, Seo-woon decides his strategy. He is going for the Lu Bu playstyle. He will dominate everyone and everything in his path. But then the system drops a bombshell. This is a duo game. Players must find a partner within 5 minutes or face the survival stage alone. He tries to find the high school student he spotted earlier, but the kid has already vanished. He needs to find a teammate, and fast. Every person he asks has already formed a duo. The clock is ticking, and the system notifications keep popping up with the same rejection message. Fine, if nobody wants to team up, then he will just have to kill every single one of them. Solo or duo, it does not matter to a predator like him. The game begins. Streaks of blue light rain down upon the valley as players are deployed to their starting zones. Seo-woon spots a village that looks perfect for early farming. He dives like a comet. He wants to hit the ground first and take out anyone who dares to land late. The hunt has officially started. He counts the landing lights, 6 of them. That means 3 teams are in his immediate vicinity. He prepares to strike before they can even get their bearings. He finds his first target. A mage is stumbling around looking sick from the drop. He is completely wide open, and Seo-woon is right behind him. He launches a spatial strike that catches the mage completely off guard. The poor guy barely has time to scream before the second blow lands. With a bone-shattering strike, Seo-woon crushes the mage into the dirt. The system warns him that the opponent is only incapacitated and can be revived by a teammate. Suddenly, a heavy knight bursts from the brush. This must be the mage's partner. He charges with a massive lance, aiming to impale Seo-woon where he stands. Seo-woon blocks the strike, but the impact is heavy. He realizes he is in for a real fight. The tutorial has only just started, and the blood is already flowing. A massive knight in silver armor blocks Seo-woon's path, demanding to know if he killed his comrade. Instead of fear, Seo-woon flashes a predatory grin. He finally has a chance to test his ultimate martial arts in this digital world. The knight charges like a steam engine, thrusting his giant lance forward with lethal intent. Seo-woon moves with blinding speed. He shifts the lance tip with his bare hand and prepares a devastating counter. Mid-strike, Seo-woon drives his fist straight through the knight heavy plate armor like it is made of paper. The armored giant falls. Seo-woon barely has a second to breathe before a new threat arrives. A sudden arrow whistles through the air, narrowly missing Seo-woon head. There is a sniper in the shadows. Another shot finds its mark. Seo-woon is bleeding, but he does not slow down as he rushes the archer position. An arrow pierces Seo-woon right through the head. The hidden archer thinks the hunt is over. Wrong, Seo-woon was just a mirage. He appears above the archer and delivers a skull-crushing kick. Just as Seo-woon goes for the kill, he is slashed from behind by a hidden blade. A high-level elf warrior steps from the light. Seo-woon is now trapped between two deadly players. Surrounded and bleeding, Seo-woon only smiles wider. This is exactly the kind of challenge he was looking for. The twin blade elf lunges with lethal precision, but Seo-woon barely manages to evade the razor-sharp strike. The hidden archer Alex sees his opening and unleashes a deadly triple shot that pierces right through the target. Just when Alex thinks the kill is confirmed, Seo-woon reveals it was all a trap and grabs the archer by the throat. The elf is stunned by Seo-woon's strange magic, as he realizes they are dealing with a monster in disguise. The battle intensifies as the elf uses a double strike, but Seo-woon remains calm and prepares for a massive counter. The elf unleashes his ultimate bloody rush technique, and the blade slices deep into Seo-woon's shoulder. Breaking through his limits, Seo-woon catches the lethal blade with his bare hands and stares down his terrified opponent. With brutal force, Seo-woon finishes the job, and the player count drops as his enemy disappears into dust. Testing his new loot, Seo-woon fires a lightning-struck bow and watches as blue energy blasts through the air. Two new players enter the tower. Kilroy is delighted to find a healing scroll, but he has no idea he just walked into a trap. Seo-woon drops from the ceiling like a silent predator. If you see weaklings, you have to strike first. Shadow suddenly descends from the sky, as Jin Seo-woon drops in like a meteor on two unsuspecting players. He sticks the landing with cold precision, while the enemies can only watch in total shock as the dust settles. Seo-woon does not waste a single second and launches a lightning-fast strike at the mage to break through his defenses. The mage panics as his barrier shatters like glass, leaving him completely exposed to the upcoming onslaught. Suddenly, a massive blast of fire erupts as the axe warrior tries to incinerate our hero in one go. But Seo-woon is too fast, and the fire blast slams directly into the warrior's own teammate instead. Seo-woon takes advantage of the chaos and lunges at the axe warrior with lethal intent while the flames roar. Blood sprays across the battlefield as Seo-woon finds a gap in the heavy armor and strikes home. In a fit of blind rage, the axe warrior accidentally buries his weapon into his own partner as the mage screams in pain. Seo-woon seizes the opening and activates his shattering strike to finish the job once and for all. The warrior discards his heavy chest plate, revealing a massive frame built for pure raw power as the ground trembles. Seo-woon launches into the air and delivers a devastating drop kick that sends the giant flying backwards. A massive explosion rocks the entire area as the two players trade blows that level the surrounding buildings. The warrior thinks he has won, but he is actually fighting a clone while the real Seo-woon watches from the distance. With one final kick, Seo-woon brings an entire tower crashing down to bury his opponent under tons of heavy stone. The battle is finally over, and a golden treasure chest appears to reward the victor of this brutal encounter. Seo-woon begins farming rare items including a philosopher's stone and a manual that could change everything. As he moves deeper into the forest, he encounters a massive flying beast and two mysterious players locked in a struggle. A powerful shadow warrior and a lich mage use a deadly combo to hold the monsters at bay with ease. Seo-woon grips his blade and prepares to strike, wondering which one of these players he should eliminate first. A chaotic battle erupts in the ruins as players struggle against a massive multi-headed serpent. The axe warrior goes all out with the 7-star sword technique, shaking the very ground with his power. But while the players are distracted by the monsters, Seo-woon is lurking in the shadows like a predator. The escrow mage desperately summons a massive protective wall, thinking he is finally safe from the unseen threat. That was his biggest mistake. Seo-woon activates a magic bomb scroll starting a deadly 10-second countdown to annihilation. Boom, the explosion is catastrophic, obliterating the players and their defenses in an instant. Seo-woon steps through the rubble to claim his prizes, starting with the powerful 7-star Mind Technique book. He hits the jackpot with a golden necklace and high-level magic scrolls. His luck in this game is insane. As he heads toward the center of the map, a giant phoenix appears in the sky carrying a legendary supply chest. The system warns him that taking this treasure will paint a massive target on his back for the next 6 hours. Does Seo-woon back down? Not a chance. He accepts the challenge and prepares for total war. Seo-woon hits the jackpot by opening a legendary supply chest filled with top-tier equipment. He uncovers a cloak of hiding and a powerful martial arts manual, but the chest beacon is broadcasting his location to everyone. With no time to waste, he learns the cloud stride technique to boost his movement speed and escape the closing net. He leaves the tears of Lamia as bait to lead his pursuers in the wrong direction, while he hides in the nearby terrain. The Centurion player and his partner fall for the trap, thinking their target is still within reach. Suddenly, massive fireballs rain down from the sky as the hunters close the gap with incredible speed. A massive warhorse charges through the flames, revealing that the enemies are using mounts to hunt Seo-woon down. The Centurion hurls a deadly spear with enough force to shatter stone, aimed directly at Seo-woon's head. Seo-woon catches the spear mid-air and imbues it with internal energy before launching it back at his attackers. The counter-attack hits home, but the hunters realize they are dealing with a player far stronger than they anticipated. Just when the battle intensifies, a hail of arrows from a third party strikes the enemy horse and brings the riders down. A duo of elite forest snipers has joined the fray, turning this narrow escape into a 3-way deathmatch. Jin Seo-woon finds himself trapped between 2 elite hunting parties in a deadly pincer attack. The forest snipers are locked on. Any slight movement will trigger a rain of arrows from the trees. The armored warrior thinks he has already won the day, looking down on Seo-woon with total arrogance. Seo-woon realizes they want to use him as bait to take out the other team before finishing him off. Instead of running, our hero gathers his blue energy for a bold gamble that could change everything. The elven leader tries to recruit Seo-woon with a false promise of mercy if he helps them kill the competition. Seo-woon reveals a legendary circle 4 stone, a treasure worth a literal fortune in this world. He proposes a winner-take-all deathmatch between the 2 teams, using the item as the ultimate lure. Greed takes over as the 2 parties clash for the ultimate prize, igniting a chaotic battle. Using the chaos as a cover, Seo-woon vanishes into the distance while his enemies tear each other apart. He reaches the valley floor, sensing a massive presence that feels exactly like the legendary escrow. But the enemies he shook off earlier have already caught up, reappearing at the edge of the cliff. Jihark unleashes a massive phoenix strike that turns the valley into an oven of magical flames. The power of the blast is overwhelming, consuming everything in its path with white-hot heat. Believing the target is dead, the Centurion and his mage prepare to scavenge the ruins for loot. The mage uses risky levitation magic to descend the steep cliffs, unaware of the danger lurking below. Suddenly, blood sprays everywhere as the mage is brutally eliminated in an instant by an unseen force. Emerging from the shadows, a dark figure with a glowing red eye looms over the terrified survivor. Seo-woon is shocked to see the Silver Knight is still alive and immediately moves in for a bone-shattering strike. Like a demon from the depths, the knight refuses to go down easily and swings his massive sword one last time. Seo-woon delivers a brutal blow to the knight's face, shattering the metal helmet and ending the threat for good. The system confirms the kills as Seo-woon wipes out the Silver Knight and his teammate Davidson. He loots a legendary chain sword that can change shape to dominate any range of combat at the user's will. Using his cloak of hiding, Seo-woon ambushes a pair of scavengers and crushes them before they can even scream. No mercy for the weak. Seo-woon crushes his competition with overwhelming force and claims their valuable loot. After 6 hours of intense meditation, Seo-woon reaches level 40 and achieves Circle 4 mana capacity. The player count has dropped to 42 survivors as the game moves into its most lethal phase. Seo-woon tracks down a buff monster, but its size is terrifying. A giant eye opens and he freezes in shock. Seo-woon comes face to face with a nightmare. This massive blue serpent is far beyond anything he expected to find in this zone. The beast strikes with blinding speed. Its massive maw opens wide to swallow the protagonist whole. But wait, the serpent suddenly stops, It looks terrified and recoils back into its cave as if sensing a monster even more dangerous than itself. Seo-woon realizes the monster has a fixed range. He decides to skip this fight for now and focuses on finding other players. Suddenly, a sharp wind blade tears through the forest. Someone is launching a surprise attack. The attacker is just a child. Seo-woon hesitates. Why would a kid be out here alone in this death game? It is a trap. A hidden player leaps from the shadows to strike while Seo-woon is distracted by the boy. Seo-woon does not even flinch. He lands a punishing counterpunch that sends the coward flying backward through the trees. The attacker used the kid as bait to lure people into an easy kill. Seo-woon is disgusted by such low behavior. The coward pulls out his final trump card, a high-tier magic orb filled with intense fire magic. He detonates the orb right in Seo-woon's face. A massive explosion of flames engulfs the entire area, but smoke and fire are useless against him. With a magic resistance of 90, he walks through the inferno like it is a light breeze. Now it is time for the real punishment. Seo-woon delivers a brutal beatdown to the man who makes children suffer for profit. The boy is named Lyle. He was just on his way home when he was pulled into this nightmare world. Seo-woon gives the boy his extra supplies and a powerful circle stone. He wants the kid to have a fighting chance to see his mother again. Seeing Lyle reminds him of his own mentor. Without that help, he would have been dead months ago. Seo-woon tracks the sounds of battle to a nearby clearing. A group of survivors are already at each other's throats over the boss rewards. A warrior named Drift steps forward. She is ready to kill everyone present to claim the loot for her duo. A mysterious figure calls out toward the bushes. He knows Seo-woon is watching and demands he reveals himself. Ren yells for Aoyama Haruto to show himself. He is completely unaware that the real legend is already watching from the trees, holding up a glowing orb. Ren promises to hand over the ant's heart if his demands are met. Seo-woon sees through the bluff immediately. He is amused that this brat is using his name to intimidate a bunch of low-level players. The alliance falls apart instantly as the players scramble for the loot. This leaves Ren and his team to slip away into the night. From his perch, Jin mocks the disorganized mob as they allow themselves to be distracted by a worthless bag. Ren finally gets serious and channels a massive burst of chain lightning to wipe out the surrounding threats. Pike attempts to smash through the opposition. The battlefield is far more chaotic than he ever expected. A chilling system alert confirms that Pike has been defeated by the real Aoyama Haruto. This sends a wave of fear through the survivors. Jin steps out from the shadows with his bow drawn. He confronts the man who dared to drag his name through the mud. Pike makes a desperate charge at the archer. Jin moves like a ghost and cuts him down with cold efficiency. Ren tries to beg for his life while preparing a sneak attack. Jin calls him an idiot and ends the fight with a single strike.